You probably think Roblox is just a game. And for most people it is, but for some it becomes something else entirely. Something that feels more real than real life. More important than school, more important than family, more important than anything happening outside that screen. This is the story of a boy named Ethan. And I want you to listen carefully, because what happened to him could have ended very, very differently. This story was sent to me by someone close to him. Someone who watched the whole thing happen and couldn't stop it. They asked me not to reveal their identity, so I won't. But everything I'm about to tell you is real. Ethan was 15 years old. He lived in a mid-sized city with his dad and his older sister. His parents had split up 2 years earlier, and his dad worked long shifts, so most of the time Ethan was home alone. He wasn't the kind of kid who caused trouble or got into fights. He was quiet, invisible almost. The kind of person people look straight through at school without even realizing it. His escape was Roblox. Specifically, a life sim server where he built a whole world for himself. A house, a job, a routine, friends who actually talked to him. In there, Ethan wasn't invisible. In there, people knew his name. He'd been playing for 2 years when she appeared. Her username was STARFALL99. She joined his usual server one afternoon and just started talking to him. Not to the group, to him specifically. She said she liked the way he decorated his in-game house, said it showed personality. Ethan had never had anyone say something like that to him, online or off. They talked for 4 hours that first day. By the end of the week, they were on voice chat every night. She said her name was Maya, said she was 16, lived a few states away, had a complicated home situation she didn't want to get into. Ethan understood that completely. He didn't push. What he felt for Maya was different from anything he'd felt before. Not just a crush, something deeper, like finally being seen by someone who actually looked. Maya felt it too, or at least that's what she said. She'd send him good morning messages before school. She'd stay on call with him until midnight, even on weekdays. She said things like, "I don't know what I'd do without you, honestly." And Ethan would read those words over and over again. 3 months in, she said it. "I want to meet you, in person, for real." Ethan's heart jumped. He typed back immediately, "Me too, more than anything." And that's where the plan began. The distance between them was just over 600 miles. Ethan looked it up the same night Maya suggested it. He checked bus routes, train prices, even flights. A bus would take 11 hours, a train a little less. Flights were too expensive. He had no credit card and no way to explain a charge to his dad. But the bus he could manage. He'd been saving money for months, birthday cash, odd jobs for neighbors, the occasional forgotten bill he found in jacket pockets. He had just over $140 saved. The bus ticket was $67 one way. He had enough. He didn't tell his dad, didn't tell his sister. The plan was simple. Leave Saturday morning when his dad was at work, tell his sister he was going to a friend's place for the day, be back Sunday before anyone noticed. Maya sent him the address of a coffee shop near her house. Said she'd be there at noon. Said she was so nervous she couldn't sleep. Ethan couldn't sleep either. But not from nerves, from excitement. For the first time in months, maybe years, he had something to look forward to. Something real. Saturday morning, he packed a small bag, left a note that just said, "Out with friends, back tomorrow," and walked out the door before 6 a.m. He felt like a completely different person. The bus station was a 20 minute walk from his house. He got there early, bought his ticket with cash, and sat in a plastic chair waiting for the 7:15 departure. He had his headphones in. He was listening to a playlist Maya had shared with him weeks ago. Every song felt different now. The bus ride was long. 11 hours of flat highways and small towns and rest stops that all looked the same. Ethan barely moved from his seat. He messaged Maya updates every hour or so. She replied to everyone. "Can't wait. I'm already nervous, lol. This is actually happening." When the bus finally pulled into the station, it was just past 6 p.m. He was 3 hours late. There had been a delay somewhere in the middle that no one explained. He messaged Maya immediately. No reply. He waited 5 minutes. Sent another message. Nothing. He found the coffee shop she'd mentioned on his phone's maps and started walking. It was about a mile from the station, through streets he didn't know, in a city he'd never been to, alone. When he got there, the coffee shop was closed. A handwritten sign on the door said they close at 5 p.m. on Saturdays. He stood on the sidewalk outside and called Maya's number. It rang once, then went to voicemail. Ethan sat down on the curb outside the coffee shop. He called again, voicemail again, voicemail. He sent messages. They showed as delivered but not read. He waited 20 minutes, then 40, watching people walk past him on the sidewalk like he was part of the furniture. It started getting dark. He had $73 left, the remainder of his savings after the ticket. He found a small diner 2 blocks away and ordered the cheapest thing on the menu just to sit somewhere warm. He charged his phone at an outlet near the window. He kept checking for a message from Maya. At 9 p.m., something finally came through. But it wasn't from Maya. It was from an account he didn't recognize. A different username, and the message said, "Hey, I think you came here for Maya. I need to tell you something. She's not who you think she is. I'm her younger brother. Can we talk?" Ethan stared at the message for a long time. Then he typed back, "What do you mean?" What came next changed everything he thought he knew about the last 4 months. The brother's name was Daniel. He was 14. He explained in short and slightly awkward messages that Maya wasn't 16, she was 19. That she wasn't in a complicated home situation, she was in college, 2 states away from where she told Ethan she lived. That she'd been talking to multiple guys on Roblox, younger guys, and that Daniel had found out by accident when he'd seen her phone. He said she hadn't planned to stand Ethan up on purpose. Something had come up, a party, friends, a last-minute change of plans. She'd just forgotten. Ethan read the word 3 times. He'd spent months talking to her every night. He'd saved money for weeks. He'd traveled 600 miles alone on a bus, lied to his family, sat on a curb in a city he didn't know as it got dark, and she'd forgotten. He didn't cry. Not yet. He just sat there in that diner booth, very still, staring at the table. The waitress came by and refilled his water without saying anything. He was grateful for that. At 10 p.m., he called his sister. She picked up on the second ring. He told her everything. Not all at once, it came out in pieces, in between long silences where he didn't know what to say next. His sister didn't interrupt, she didn't yell, she just listened. When he was done, she said, "Okay. Are you safe right now?" He said yes. She said, "I'm coming to get you." She drove through the night, 4.5 hours each way. She didn't tell their dad until she was already on the road and Ethan was found. She didn't. Caused to want him to panic before she knew her brother was okay. Ethan waited in the diner until they closed, then sat outside on a bench near the bus station with his bag on his lap, watching cars go past. He turned his phone face down. He didn't want to see if Maya had messaged. He didn't want to know. His sister arrived just after 2 a.m. When he got into the passenger seat and she looked at him, just looked at him, no words yet, he finally started crying. Not loudly, just the quiet kind, where you're so tired you don't have anything left. She didn't say, "I told you so." She didn't say anything for a while, she just drove. After about 20 minutes on the highway, she said, "You're not stupid for wanting something real. You know that, right?" Ethan didn't answer, but he heard it. He got home Sunday morning, just before dawn. His dad was awake, had been awake most of the night apparently. His sister had called him somewhere around midnight. He was sitting at the kitchen table when Ethan walked in, still in his jacket, still carrying his bag. His dad stood up, looked at him for a long moment. Then he crossed the room and hugged him. Not the kind of hug that's relief, exactly. More like the kind where someone holds on a little too long because they didn't know how close they came to not having the chance. Ethan didn't move. He just stood there and let himself be held. There were consequences. 2 weeks without his phone, no Roblox for a month, a long and uncomfortable conversation about safety and lying that neither of them wanted to have, but both of them needed. His dad wasn't angry exactly, he was scared. There's a difference, and for the first time, Ethan understood it. As for Maya, Ethan never replied to her. She messaged him twice in the weeks that followed. The first time she said sorry. The second time she acted like nothing had happened, asking if he wanted to play. He blocked her and didn't think about it for a long time. But here's the thing. And this is what the person who sent me this story wanted me to end on. Ethan still plays Roblox. Not as much as before, and differently. He's more careful now about what he lets himself believe when there's only a screen between him and the other person. That's not cynicism, it's just something he learned the hard way. But he doesn't regret it completely. Not all of it. Because on that bus, in those 11 hours, watching the highway disappear behind him, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Like he mattered to someone, like something was worth doing. The feeling was real, even if the person wasn't quite who he thought. And his sister, the one who drove through the night without hesitating, he talks to her more now. A lot more. Turns out she'd been wanting that for years. Sometimes what breaks things open is the worst possible version of events. I don't know if Ethan ever found what he was looking for. But I know he got home safe, and I know someone came to get him. That's something. So tell me, whose fault was this? Maya for not being honest? Ethan for trusting too fast? Or something else entirely? Leave it in the comments. I read every single one. And if something like this has ever happened to you in Roblox, in any game, online, anywhere, send it to me. Every story on this channel is real, and there are more coming. I'll see you in the next one.